doesn't always happen that way where the best team wins, but it did in this tournament. From the very beginning, the closest thing to a complete team was the Dominican Republic.
When the Dominican Republic plays in the World Baseball Classic, they play with intent. They play with passion. The DR will be on the hunt for redemption after getting eliminated in the first round in 2023. They captured the championship in 2013, and this time around they are bringing some serious star power. Guys that don't even need a first and last name introduction. CY, Soto, Vladdy, J-Rod, Manny.
This is fascinating. As you look at this roster, I mean, this is one of the best outfields that you could put together. Julio Rodriguez, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, and that's not even mentioning in the infielders right there.
As equally impressive, their pitching staff. Former Cy Young winner Sandy Alcantara and All-Star Christopher Sanchez head up the rotation, JP.
Sarah, this is the biggest difference between the 23 team that struggled and this year's roster. They have a much stronger starting rotation. As you mentioned, Alcantara found his form towards the second half of the season. I think Christopher Sanchez is one of the best lefties in the game right now. Luis Severino is solid. And you think back to what made the 2013 team special, it was that bullpen. Fernando Rodney shooting the arrow. And by the way, did you love that highlight? Carlos Santana was behind the plate as the catcher for that game, and now he's still on the roster.
The bench potentially as a first baseman.
I love it.
Pinch hit at bat.
But Sandy and Sanchez, they are the 1-2 punch, right? And the guys rounding out the rotation, you got Brian Bale, Luis Severino, and then the relievers, Camilo Doval, Carlos Estevez. So CY, does the Dominican Republic have enough pitching to win it all?
Absolutely. I think they have just as much pitching, to JP's point, that anybody else has. When you have dominant starting guys like Christopher Sanchez, I trust Sandy Alcantara in this environment. And then you're talking about Doval back into the bullpen, like lights out, Gregory Soto back into the bullpen. These guys can go after anybody. And you have to remember, it doesn't even matter if your pitching is average. This offense can go up there and put up 10 runs on the board every single game. So they're definitely good enough to carry those guys all the way.
JP, does the DR have the best lineup in the World Baseball Classic? I mean, who has a better lineup? Is it the Stars and Stripes, or is it Platano Power?
Oh, Platano Power. Right now, I think 1 through 9, Sierra, in terms of just the talent on the field in the batter's box, the Dominican Republic has the edge. If you go player for player, now again, I would take Raleigh over Wells. There are some disparities here and there, but the 1 through 9, just the absolute ability to mash the baseball. It's the right-hand side of the ledger. But I will also say this, CY, when you look at the left-hand side, and I think it's one of the really interesting parts of this job for D-Row, how do you get the base running aspect out of Buxton and Carroll and Witt and Terang? So I think that the more impressive bats, just the ability to slug the ball, is for the Dominicans. But I actually think the way the U.S. can play small ball might be the better approach for this tournament.
Yeah, when you look at them, you can argue that they're pretty equal athletically. On the left side, you're going to see Bryce Terang, Bobby Witt. Like, they can go out there and steal bases. They can slug with anybody. Either one of those lineups can go up there and put up 10 runs on the board. So I don't know if there's a full advantage, but if there was, it's probably a little bit on Team DR right now.
And we didn't even get to mention that Austin Wells is behind the plate for DR. And we could actually have a 10-minute conversation about Albert Pujols as well.
That's right.
I mean, Albert Pujols is going to have some big decisions to make. When you look at the roster, so many superstars, he's going to have to make sure to keep all of those guys happy, because all of those guys deserve.
Who better to do it, though, CY, right? The credibility Albert brings. If it's Albert delivering the news, you accept it.
It's the one guy that you can't go to and be like, hey, what's up? He's like, hey, I got this. Like,
that is a lot of personalities to keep complacent, fellas. Let's get on to Team Venezuela, who's coming off one of their best World Baseball Classics in 2023, making it to the quarterfinals before losing to Team USA. This roster is highlighted by former MVP Ronald Acuna Jr. and Brewers phenom Jackson Chourio and CY. Acuna, he is a big name as anyone in this tournament.
Yeah, he's a big name, and he's back healthy again. I can't wait to watch him in this World Baseball Classic. Fully removed from the knee surgery, came back extremely strong last year, hit 21 home runs in less than 100 games. Having Ronald Acuna back, understanding that maybe he's not going to be stealing 70 bags this season, his play discipline, his control, he's getting on base at a 400 clip. He's going to be dominant in this WBC.
And on the positive side, Alex Anthopoulos, the Braves president of baseball operations, said the last time we had the WBC, Acuna played well, and then won the MVP. Sometimes the Classic gets a player locked in a little bit earlier than you expect. That was the case for Acuna last time around. Now, on the pitching side of things, CY and Sierra, I like the depth here. Pablo Lopez is going to start, I think, probably the most important games for that team. Ranger Suarez, of course, just signs the deal with the Boston Red Sox. I like what the two of them can bring. And then you, again, have some adaptable arms. We had this conversation with D-Row as well. Someone like a Cater Montero, he can start, he can relieve. Senzatella, similar situation. So maybe not as many superstars as on the Dominican pitching staff right now, Sierra, but I like what Omar Lopez has here.
Well, Team Netherlands made back-to-back semifinal appearances in 2013 and 17, but they were eliminated in the first round of the 2020